Sonic the Hedgehog, a classic fictional character that I have been a fan of for a big chunk of my life. It is easily one of my top favorite franchises of all time, alongside Godzilla and Halo. And as of recent months, I have been really getting into the IDW comic series. And you know what? They're pretty good. The Battle for Angel Island arc felt like it came straight from the games, and the Metal Virus arc was one of the best Sonic stories I've ever seen, even if it did have its issues. Trust me, we'll get to that. Now, apart from the riveting stories and the somewhat excellent writing of the OG characters, IDW has also taken the liberty to introduce several new players to the roster. Characters like Whisper, Tangle, and Surge have gotten their time to shine alongside the main cast, being provided with their own unique skill sets and compelling backstories. And I really appreciate this because it makes Sonic's world as a whole feel more fleshed out, makes it feel more lived in, even if they have yet to appear in a mainline game. Now, being relatively new to these comics, I've only just finished the Misadventures volume, which brings us to the topic of this video, specifically one of the original characters of the series, that being Lanolin the sheep. Now, normally I don't find myself becoming too upset with things like this, because at the end of the day, it's a work of fiction, it's just ink on a paper. But sometimes I'll come across something that is just such bullshit that it makes me unbelievably angry. For those who have read the comics, you're probably like, oh, it's not that bad, people are just overreacting. And to that I say, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. Lanolin deserves all the hate she's getting. If you're like me and haven't gotten with the series until recently, you may be wondering, well, who is this Lanolin and why is everyone so upset? Actually, if you're new to the comics, you're probably wondering, what the f is a Tenric? Then you're wondering who Lanolin is, and what she did that was just so wrong. Well, I'm gonna give a quick summary of the event before we dive into the hell that is my pissed off ranting and why I absolutely hate this character. Our story starts with the new Diamond Cutters, being composed of Whisper the Wolf, Tangle the Lemur, and Lanolin the Sheep. Lanolin is expressing that she felt their first mission was almost a failure. Tangle brings up the idea of recruitment, and we are shown that Lanolin's kind of a hard ass, but she seems to agree with the notion. They are then greeted by some Joe Schmo who just kind of lets himself in, and Tangle, having zero filter, straight up invites him on the team. The stranger replies by saying that that's why he's here. How damned convenient. He then starts yapping some generic cliche I wanna help people bullshit, like you could not telegraph this guy being a villain any harder. Now, earlier in that issue, it was revealed that this guy is actually Mimic, who just infiltrates the Restoration to get revenge on Whisper. I'm not going to give his whole backstory, there's a million other videos explaining why he's a scumbag piece of shit. Or better yet, just read the comics. But the girls bite into this act, hook, line, and sinker, and allow him on the team. The next issue picks up with Whisper picking up her newly repaired Wispin. On her way out, she smacks headfirst into Silver the Hedgehog. Now, for those of you who are uncultured, Silver is the second best character in the entire franchise, right after the Edgelord himself. Silver is him, and I will not be convinced otherwise. Silver is wandering around aimlessly as he feels without purpose now that his future has been saved. Whisper then invites him to join the Diamond Cutters for some training. Silver jumps on the opportunity as he always enjoys hanging out with Whisper. The group makes their way to a wrecked area of Green Hill as Lanolin explains the objectives for the day. Mimic sees Silver as a possible threat to his plans, thinking to himself that he needs to play this right. So he introduces himself to the Hedgehog, and then proceeds to start glazing. He asks him about his powers, and Silver, as any rational teenager would, begins to flex his psychokinetic muscles. And look at Mimic's face right now, he is sweating. Bro is not expecting that kind of power. And Silver's all like, nah, this is light work. I can do way more, but you know, I ain't trying to tear down this mountain or anything. Now, this should be an indicator that Silver is not the kind of guy you want to be making enemies with.
It's no use!
But Mimic continues with his plans anyway. While Silver is distracted with trying to set the boulders down, Mimic kicks him in the leg, causing him to lose focus and nearly crush the girls on the ground. They're able to get out of harm's way well enough, but are then attacked by a badnik, who just kind of shows up for some reason.
Big reasons that'll drive the plot forward.
Silver gets caught in the bot's maw and does everything he can to not get crushed, and Mimic just leaves him to die. But not before Silver notices a few subtle changes in his face. The girls come in with the assist and he is able to break free. And yeah, he's pissed.
Bitch ass motherfucker.
Silver immediately calls out Mimic for ditching him, but Lanolin jumps to his defense and chastises Silver for not having better control of his power. Like, bitch, what do you know about... Later that night, Whisper finds Silver on top of his garden shack. She explains to him that she saw Mimic kick him. Silver then tells her that he thought he saw his eyes change color momentarily. This immediately makes Whisper suspect Mimic, and she tells him, "We're going hunting." Now let's talk about this issue. Can we talk about this issue? Because, I've been dying to talk about this issue all day, okay? Whisper gives Silver the rundown on Mimic's whole deal, and the two begin to keep tabs on him throughout the day. Unfortunately, Silver's about as stealthy as Godzilla walking around downtown Dallas. And after a whole day of watching, the two can't seem to catch him lacking. So Silver decides to yeet him off the balcony in order to provoke a transformation. But Mimic is caught by Lanolin, who pulls him back up and tells Silver to come out of hiding. She questions why he's been sneaking around, only to be answered by Whisper as she emerges from the foliage. She tells her that the new guy is actually the shapeshifter Mimic, but Lanolin, instead of hearing her out, immediately starts riding. Whisper moves her arm out of the way, trying to get to the imposter, but Lanolin then You bitch. When all this was over and Lanolin realizes that she was wrong and gives Silver a sincere, heartfelt apology, I may have considered cutting her some slack. But after that, nah, your bitch ass is going to hell. The sheep starts yapping, but Whisper ain't having none of that, as the two start throwing hands in front of everybody. Mimic tries to escape, but Silver chases after him.
It's no use!
Then he hits him with the
Why are you running?
Well, shit.
Silver levitates him with a chair and demands a confession, but the clever shapeshifter puts on an Oscar-worthy performance and falls off the chair. And he's all like, no, please don't hurt me. Both Silver and Whisper begin to start doubting themselves, believing that maybe it really wasn't Mimic, which is just so stupid.
Drive the plot forward.
But I'll get to that in a minute. Tangle comforts Whisper as she has a mental breakdown, and Jewel arrives to see what the commotion is. Lanolin votes to kick Silver from the diamond cutters. Whisper feels incredibly guilty for leading her friend astray and asks him to leave. Lanolin then presses Tangle to vote him off the team as well. Silver walks away looking defeated. Problem number 1. The disrespect towards Silver. After the first incident with Mimic, the understandably pissed Silver confronts him about leaving him to fend for his own. But instead of questioning Mimic and asking him why he abandoned Silver, Lanolin automatically blames Silver for the whole fiasco. And then she has the audacity to tell him to do better. Like, shut your bitch, you have no right to tell him to do better. He saved the entire fucking world, in case you've forgotten. He's one of the best in the business. And besides, I thought this whole training session was about communication. But what I see is Silver expressing his unhappiness and you just flat out ignoring him. And later, when she catches him sneaking around, she once more defends Mimic without even attempting to reason with Silver. And once everything is all said and done, she demands his removal from the diamond cutters. And then she pressures Tangle into taking her side. Problem number 2. The disrespect towards Whisper. Whisper, like a good friend and teammate, actually listened to what Silver had to say, unlike Lanolin, who wouldn't even give him the benefit of the doubt. When Silver describes what he saw, Whisper automatically makes the connection to Mimic, and when they go to confront him, Lanolin once more ignores her own teammate. Like, her being kind of skeptical about Silver is one thing, but here's Whisper, the one person who knows Mimic more than anybody else on the planet, and she won't even consider her point of view. And when Whisper tries to get past her, this bitch has the audacity, the nerve, to throw her to the ground like she's some common criminal! The disrespect. I just can't believe that she would trust someone that she doesn't even know over her own teammate.
Drive the plot forward.
Remember when I said that Silver and Whisper doubting themselves was stupid? Allow me to explain. Even though the two were unable to get any solid proof of Mimic's presence, Whisper did witness him kicking Silver back in Green Hill, and last time I checked, her mask records everything she sees, so even if it wasn't proof of Mimic, it was still proof that this guy wasn't who he said he was. If she had simply shown that to Lanolin, there would have been reason for suspicion, but that shouldn't have even mattered anyway. At Green Hill, Silver had seen Mimic's eyes turn solid black with white pupils, and a stitch-like pattern appear across his mouth. Now, somebody in-universe might argue that Silver doesn't have any proof and that he was probably just seeing things. Silver had never even heard of Mimic before, let alone seen him, so if they're saying that he just happened to have a hallucination of someone he's never seen before, whose description just happens to match Whisper's #1 ops, I guess that would be one hell of a coincidence, right?
Wrong.
Neither of them should have a doubt in their mind that that's Mimic. There's too much coincidence for it to be coincidental. And the final issue I have is this panel where Mimic momentarily shows his true face. How did nobody see that? Now, again, I've only recently finished the Misadventures arc, so I don't know how all of this is gonna resolve, but Silver and Whisper better be getting one hell of an apology later down the road. As somebody famous once said, actions speak louder than words. And as somebody more famous once said,
these hands speak louder than fucking actions, and I'm about to fucking action all over you, dumbass, the bitch.
So, in conclusion, Lanolin.